Hello.
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 Hello, everyone. This is Touching You Talk Show. We are here tonight. This is the Meet the Host episode, and we are so happy to be here. We are so saddened that our dear Calvin is unable to be with us today, but guess what? The next time he's going to get in big trouble if he can't be on with us the next time. So we'll make sure, yeah, we'll make sure that his schedule is clear and he's not doing all this other stuff. But I am so happy to be here with Jordan. I'm gonna say he's the OG host. He's been doing it. How long you been doing it, Jordan?
We've been doing it for a little over a year now. About almost a year and a half.
Okay. And then we have Rochelle, who is the new kid on the block. How long has it been, Rochelle?
Uh, let's say well, 6 months or so.
So how did you feel when I said, I think you had mentioned that you wanted to start the podcast, and I said, well, why don't you just do it on the Touching You Talk show? How did you feel when I said that to you?
I was really surprised because a lot of people don't share their spaces with other people unless it's like, contracts and how much of a percentage and I own this forever kind of a thing. So for you to open it up and just to be like, yeah, you want to talk about autism? Cool, go ahead. And just off of you knowing me was just kind of wild. But I think it was even before that when you asked me to interview.
Absolutely.
That's when I was like, oh, so Elder just looking into something and seeing something there. So let me see what she see.
You know what? That interview is what always inspired me. And that happened with Jordan as well. I interviewed him and it just inspired me. I'm thinking, okay, this could be a host, a Touching You Talk show host right here. So, and the same with Calvin. So, um, you really impressed me when I interviewed you about autism because being an autism mom and how you do it so well and how your kids, I mean, I know there may be times and issues and problems, but we never see any of it. So somehow it's all working together for the good for you. So praise God for that. And then Jordan, I can't remember what our first episode was about. Why did I interview you the first time?
The first time you interviewed me was after Cindy's women's conference last year. After I performed at the, it was between when I performed at the women's conference and then when I performed at the young adults conference. We were kind of, it was like a segue between those, like, hey, I met you doing this, and then you immediately turned around and had me interview someone else for the young adult conference. So it's a quick turnaround. Her turnaround is faster than Amazon Prime.
He did not get a chance to even breathe before I was like, nope, you're gonna have to host the show. So just tell me your experience. I mean, what has it been for you, Jordan, to be a host and to be able to share? Because check this out, y'all. When Rochelle and when Jordan host, they actually pick the people. I mean, I could do it. I can do it. And every now and then I just might say, hey, can you interview this person for me? But they pick their own people. So just tell me what how did that impact you being able to pick your own person? Just I know at first you were you nervous at first and then once you realized there's nothing to be afraid of?
I was more nervous about hosting than I was about being the guest. Like it's easy to get on here and talk about my experiences, talk about me, because who doesn't like to talk about themselves? But to get on there, to get on here and have meaningful conversation with someone else about them and what it is that they do or whatever their platform is that they're trying to bring on, that one was a little nerve wracking because I didn't want it to sound too much like one of those boring little 60-minute interviews where it's like I ask a question, you answer. I ask a question, you answer. I wanted it to be organic and conversational. And to the point that she made earlier, for you to share your platform with me to be able to not only host, but host the way I want to host, that speaks volumes because it wasn't like, hey, I want you to host, but I want you to host it my way. It was like, hey, find somebody you want to talk to, bring them on the show, have a conversation with them. let the world know who they are and stuff like that. So like I every time that I've done an interview on here, I literally show up with zero questions pre-written. I might have a guideline to some things that I want to touch on, but the questions are all organic and it's off the top of the dome because I want the responses to be off the top of the dome. But that way it feels more genuine because the whole point of it is to touch the audience. And if it's scripted, it's not as touching.
Right, right. And I have found that even when I've had guests to ask for questions ahead of time, and I found that I do struggle. And I don't know, maybe people can't tell, but I do struggle when I have to stop and look at my questions. So it's so much better when it can just be organic, like what you said. So tell me, Rochelle, about your experience. I mean, she has the podcast where she and Dr. McKinney, they host together and they just have a conversation. And then she actually interviewed an autism mom, and that was very successful. So tell me, how has it impacted your life?
Oh, a lot. First of all, the Ask an Autism Mom podcast, that was definitely divine and God working because, like you said, I had spoken to you about wanting to do a podcast. And then Pastor Sonia connected me with Dr. Yolanda, and she was like, God's telling me we should do a podcast. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, guess who said we could use their platform? And it just, all the puzzle pieces came together, you know? So when that started, um, my cousin, Jaleesa, who is really big on social media, documenting her life as a mom with a child with multiple disabilities. I reached out to her and she was like, of course, cousin, of course I'll be on the podcast. And I was so afraid, you know, because sometimes you're like, you know, do people feel like you're using them or trying to, you know, benefit off of what they build on? But I have found that ever since I've started doing these podcasts and these interviews, I've had more people come into my life that not only I want to interview, but they have just such compelling stories of faith and resilience. And I'm just like, I got the perfect place for us to put your information out there, you know? And so I'm just so grateful because we get to combat all the negative and wildness that's out there in the world and really put something out there, you know? And I know we're for all people, but to be with so many um, African American Black people, you know, speaking intelligently about topics of wide range, it's just amazing. And so uh, it has definitely expanded me, it has grown me, and it has made me kind of step out and ask for those things that I want. And God usually comes through with a yes.
Right, because these two right here, they're something special. I mean, our own Rochelle was on TV. She was on the news. Oh my God.
Okay. Okay,
She
TV
was on the
star.
news. They interviewed her,
I'm
Sean Rabb.
I'm
Hey, you
very
need to
political.
you need to
I'm very
interview.
politically minded. Yeah. So, you know, I try not to bring my politics too much to too many podcasts, but maybe that's a podcast for another time.
Mm.
But
I'm looking
yeah,
forward to
so I'm
that.
like, what was that?
I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I was just thinking about that today. Let me hold that thought. Keep going.
But no, it's just, you know, I like to stir up what, you know, John Lewis said, good trouble.
Right.
And I'm grateful for my Dayspring family because I'm surrounded by women who have taught me that I don't have to be a wrecking ball. You know, I can be that little pebble in your shoe,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna eventually change that shoe.
All right. That's good. I like that.
so, so that's what I'm enjoying because of the Touching You uh, network. I'm able to, you know, kind of grow
Yeah,
and.
that's beautiful. And Jordan he's the next best rapper right here in the DFW area. and looking forward to some new stuff that he's doing. I am so excited. Can you tell me about the new things that you're doing?
Yeah, of course. So I'm in the finishing stages of a new project that I plan to release next year. Um, just a bit on my background for those who don't know, I did grow up in the church. I am a PK, as they call it, a pastor's kid. I am active in my church, New Fellowship Church of Fort Worth, where my dad, Patrick Diggs, is the pastor. And this kind of all started when my aunt Cindy Diggs asked me to uh, put together a song for her women's conference last year, and the theme was "I'm Still Here." So I wrote a song called "I'm Still Here," and it was the first song, I guess, that would fall into the genre of Christian um, that I had ever written or put out or anything of that nature. And that's how I was able to meet Elder Sheila. Was at that women's conference, but that song went on to do things for me that no other song had ever done. Like I can't show it, but I earned a plaque for that song because it made it so high on the Christian charts on iTunes that I earned a plaque, like the same plaque that you see celebrities get for their music and things like that. So that inspired me to dig a little bit deeper into that realm of my ability to create music, to the point to where I now have a complete album that I will be releasing in 2026. Um, I guess there's no better platform than any to announce it. I will be releasing that album on my birthday in 2026. So Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026 is
Woo!
when that album will be releasing. It is titled "Take 'Em to Church."
Ooh.
So that one is it's gonna be fun. Elder Sheila Black has already heard the project, so
When I
you don't
tell
leak
you
it.
guys,
Don't
I'm
leak
not
it.
gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But when I tell you, I sent him a crying emoji. I said, "All of these are so good.
Yeah, so it's gonna
Every
be
single
fun.
one. Every
I've got
single one is good."
really, really big plans for this project. Like I sat down the other day and was taking notes and doing some research on different ways that I could make sure that this project, because I kept telling people if I'm going to do this style of project, I have to do it right. Like I can't half step on this. Like some of the other projects, I can cut corners here and there. On this one, I can't do it. If I'm going to do it, I got to do it all the way. So I am hoping to, on the release date, put together a concert. I don't know where I'm gonna have said concert. It might be at my church. It might be at Dayspring. We might do it in a park. I don't know. More details to come on that. But the goal is to reach as many people as possible with this project. Um, so there's going to be a lot going on. I'm going to be looking to book some other acts because it can't just be me up there for 2 hours. So I'm going to book some other people and get them involved, like Eric Burdine. I'm going to try to get him involved. He's been in the family for forever. Like I call him my uncle, even though he's not uncle by blood or even marriage. He's just always been there. Like he was around before I was around. He's been in my family longer than I've been in my family. So but yeah, no, it's definitely been a transition over the last 2 years from the music I was doing to the music that I want to be doing. People have asked me, am I becoming a Christian rapper? And I was like, no, I'm a rapper that is a Christian. Like I've always been a Christian. I've never hid my beliefs. I've never hid my faith, but I've also never just done music that catered to that particular audience. So I was nervous putting this project together, and that's why I have a private link that I've shared with a few people to get their feedback on it right now while I still have time to make changes and things like that before I turn the project into my distributor and start preparing for the release in the summer. But just know in 2026, probably around mid February, you're going to see a big push in social media and even in the churches advertising this, because I'll be sending announcements to every church that I have connections to, announcing the release of this project as well as the concert and things like that. So the goal is to be the next big artist to come out of the city after Leon Bridges and Kirk Franklin. So we'll
Okay.
see how that happens.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. You guys heard it right here on the Touching You Talk Show, and I'm just so super proud of you. And he even had a little short talk, a little preach word. Tell me how that felt.
Uh, well, it was different because I've never been one to say that I'm a preacher or I'm a minister or anything of that nature. But I mean, ministry comes in all different shapes, forms, sizes, and flavors. So whenever I'm given an assignment to do something, I just go in and do what God has given me to do, whether it be make a song, just to speak, or whatever the case may be. I did recently get contacted about a speaking engagement in January, which I can't give any details on, but you guys will find out about it either right before it happens or after it happens. So it's a little nerve wracking because I'm not saying it's preaching, but I feel like that's kind of what it is. But yeah, no, the public speaking isn't anything that I've ever shied away from once I got used to it, because of course as an artist I perform, I get on stage, I do this all the time. But when there's true purpose behind it, it feels different. No matter how many times you step on that stage to do something, you kind of have to follow where the spirit leads you to go versus, hey, I've rehearsed this song or this performance time and time and time again. I know it like the back of my hand. If somebody puts me on the stage and tells me to perform my music, I can do that for hours. Someone puts me on stage and tells me to get up there and just speak about something, I probably won't want to do it for hours, let alone 10 to 20, 30 minutes. So it's different when you have to speak versus just entertaining people, because when you're speaking, you're educating.
Right,
And
right.
I want to make sure that the information that I'm imparting into those who will hear it is correct and it's sound and it's not misleading in any way, because that in turn makes me partially responsible for their spiritual journey.
Absolutely.
So, I would never say that preaching is something that I want to do, because even just preparing to speak at church is can be stressful. So I can only
Um,
imagine ministers doing this week in and week out. Hey, shout out to you guys for doing it, because I can't do it. It's not me. I
really,
can't do it.
it's nerve wracking. I don't care how many times you've done it and you question, did God really say that? Yeah, so yeah, it's nerve wracking. But you know, Rochelle is a PK as well, right?
Okay, PK.
I am second generation PK.
Okay.
So tell me,
Uh,
what was that? Give me some misconceptions, you know, that people have about PKs.
Oh.
okay, so I'm the wrong one to say about misconceptions because I proved some of these things are right. Okay. Okay. 42 years in the game, just letting you know. Um, my parents are all gray, all gray. Okay. But I think some of it is that we think that we're holier or more spiritually enlightened than others. We go through the same thing that everybody else goes through, especially like in our 20s and our teens. We have the same hormones, the same thoughts. You know, y'all get preacher daddy. I get daddy daddy.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, you get the compassion and the grace. And sometimes we get the hell and brimfire, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
That's what they
know,
don't get. That's what
yeah.
they
So
don't understand.
right. So sometimes when people see, you know, the saying is like PK, preacher's kids are always out there wilding out. Sometimes, like, what y'all think is wilding out is not, is what everybody else is doing.
Mm,
It's just like our form of rebellion, you
Yeah.
know, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
right.
So it's not, it's things like that. And then it's also like that we don't know how to have fun, you know,
Hmm.
like, you know, you rap and you do hip hop, you know. I love dancing. I love dancing. I love acting. I love all forms of the art. There's pretty much nothing that I think is just so out there. Cause like you said, we're giving information when we're out there.
Yep.
So you know, that we're just so close-minded, you know. Um Now that I'm older, I'm grateful for being a PK. But when I was heavy in the kid side of being a preacher's kid, that kid in me did not like that at all.
Yeah, no, for me growing up, everyone was always like, "Oh, you got to watch the PKs. Those are the bad ones. They always out here trying to get into something or whatever the case may be." I was not a bad kid. Like I got into my share of trouble, but more often than not, like I was a really big introvert growing up. So if you weren't in my circle of friends or immediate family, I wasn't doing anything. Like there was times where my dad would come home from work and he'd be like, "Why don't you go do something?" I don't want to go do anything. I'm home. You should be happy I'm home. I could be out in the streets doing
Right.
drugs, gang banging, or whatever the case may be. Be happy I'm here. And then when it flipped and I started going out, he was like, "Why you never at home?"
Uh, Make up your
So
mind.
yeah. So but yeah, no, to her point is right. Everybody always thinks to one extreme. Like there's never a middle ground for the PKs. Either you're all the way out there or you're all the way in. And
Mhm.
nobody ever really took into consideration, to her point, that we're just like you guys. What our parents were called to do might be different than what your parents do. I mean, when I was in school, for the most part, my dad still had an actual job, although he was pastoring a church. So it's like my dad gets up every morning and goes to work just like your parents do.
Mhm.
The only difference is what my dad is doing on Wednesday night, Sunday mornings, etc., is different from what, I mean, your parents, some of their parents went to my church. They went to our church. So it's like I see your parents at church and whatnot. So it's like
Yeah.
the only difference is my dad is up in the pulpit, your parents are down there in the pews. So I mean, you're a PK too. You're a pew kid.
Oh,
Y-
I'm a pastor's kid. You're a pew kid.
That part. Oh, and Jordan, one other thing. I don't know if we can just share in this PK moment
Hmm.
because we're bonding here. Um, I feel that people think I'm a lot more outgoing than I am, but when you're a PK, you have to learn, you know how to open a church, close the church, be the usher, be the deacon. I don't know how to go to a church and just sit. I have to force myself to do it because if something needs to be done, you're the first line of defense. You're the
Yep.
custodian, you're taking out the trash. You're the first ones there and the last ones to leave. So, sometimes people look at me and they're like, oh, you just want to be in all the ministries. I actually do not.
I don't want to be in any of them.
I would rather sit down, pay my tithes and offering,
That's
wave
why.
my
That's why
hand
I
in
do the
the air.
audio. That's why I do the audio. I sit in the back. Leave me alone.
Mm,
Y'all don't have to come say to me. You don't have to say anything to me unless a mic isn't working.
wow. That's amazing. Well, I'm going to tell you guys that I am not a PK. As a matter of fact, we did grow up at Pilgrim Rest Missionary Baptist Church. We sure did. And but my family, I had a family of party animals. So I come from a background of partying. The party was at my house. The drinks was at my house. If you couldn't drive home, you could stay overnight. The next morning, we'd have breakfast. It was just such a great time with the devil that we had when I was young. So
Not
thank
with the devil
God for
prayer.
his saving grace. But you know what? Somebody needs to hear every one of our stories.
Yeah,
They need to hear how you come from a place to know and allow God to do what and that happens with all of us. I don't care how saved you are, you still got to continue to allow God to do some things in you and through you. So yeah, it's just I don't have that PK story, but it's all good. It is all good. But you know what? We wanted to just have this conversation with you all. We're transitioning. We are morphing into the Touching You Talk Show Network. Woohoo! So if you have an
Yeah.
idea in your head that you would like to host a podcast, maybe I'm actually looking for someone to talk about sports. Okay, first of all, I know you said I usually let people do whatever they want to, but I need at least one of the people to be a Cowboys fan. All right, somebody
I'm a
has to
Cowboys fan.
advocate for the Cowboys. So I would really love to have someone to come on and talk sports. I would love to have someone to come on and talk politics. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, I had said, wait a minute, I had said in my mind, I'm gonna stay away from politics, red, blue, right, left. I'm gonna stay away. But you know what? Somebody needs to talk about what's happening and how it is affecting our community and how we need to vote and how we need to be responsible for who we put in office in our at the local level. A lot of times we put a whole lot of emphasis on who the president is, but we need to think about our city council people. We need to think about the judges that we're voting in. We need to think about, oh, I see she
School
came off of
board,
mute. She came off
this,
of mute.
the school board.
Yeah.
Y'all are
Yep.
upset about all these campuses closing.
Mm-hmm.
School board determines the budget. You know, you have campuses closing, and we're building, you know, state of the art football fields for
Mm-hmm.
high schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of have to look at what are we doing, you know. And to elder Elder Sheila, I want there to also be a way that we bring back civility in the way that we talk, because we don't have to always agree. I don't like talking to people that always 100% agrees with me, because
Mhm.
I'm not seeing all sides of the story.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So, especially in politics, let's sit down, let's be respectful, but understand that we're all working together because we're all Americans here. And yeah, again, for those that are on the screen right now, so many people died, literally died, for us to have the right to vote
Ooh,
and
that
to have a
part.
voice,
That
to
part.
be heard. And so for us to be like, man, that don't do nothing. Did they do all that fighting in vain? I think not. And I refuse to let that be. So, you know, that's my soapbox. I'll go back on mute.
And you know what? I would love to have a historian, because a lot of, and we need to make our young people sit down and listen, because it's a lot of things that are not taught in the school system that they need to know about.
It's because they're
So,
trying to erase our history.
and I'm not just talking about slavery. I'm talking about some of the good things that, you know, African American people did. They invented. They didn't get credit for it, but they're the ones. They were the first people to do it. So I
That's
just
happening right now.
I
Real
would love
quick,
to have a historian to come in and just
real,
kind of highlight some people.
like real quick, Spotify Wrapped that everybody was putting up. Spotify for that was made by a Black woman intern at Spotify.
And
Wow.
they didn't give her the job, but they kept her idea.
Like, yes.
Oh,
So the thing that everybody's talking about was made by a Black woman. Who knows that? And how many Black young girls and boys could hear that and go, I didn't know that a simple idea like that I can make, I can do.
And the funny thing is as a music listener and as an artist, I see rap from both sides. And I've posted it every year. And it wasn't until this year. That started in 2019. It wasn't until 2025 that it got out publicly, because I've been seeing posts about it, that it was a Black woman intern who created the idea, was not given the job, but they took her idea and ran with it. And so much so that not only does Spotify do it, Apple Music does it wrapped up now.
So does
Tidal does
YouTube.
one. YouTube does one. Amazon Music does one. Like, the whole idea of a wrapped is everywhere. Twitter does one. Twitter will do a wrap up of people that you've interacted with most throughout the year. Her idea has snowballed into becoming such a social media cultural thing that she's getting zero credit for, no money, no pray. Like, even if she wasn't doing it for the money, people don't know that she did it to be able to go back to her and be like, what other cool ideas like that do you have?
wow. Wow. See, we need to, these are things that we need to know. I would love to have an attorney to come on, because oftentimes there are things that we don't even think about, like when you pass away, how you need to make sure you have a family member on
Oof.
your bank account. If you're a homeowner, you need to have a deed in whatever you call it set up, so when upon your death, then the deed transfers over to that person. It's just so many legal things that I am not an attorney and don't know all of the answers, but I would love for an attorney to come on and just share. The people perish for the lack of knowledge.
Yep.
This platform is here not just to entertain you. Yes, we love to make you laugh. We love to just entertain you, but we want you to be empowered, empowered in your life, empowered in your business, empowered in your ministry. That's what this whole thing is about. Now, the one thing I do want to maintain that we don't tear anybody down.
Absolutely.
I do want to maintain that we don't get on, we don't slander people, we don't drag their name through the mud. It's enough of that going on. All you have to do is turn on NBC, and then you hear our very own president, saying something very ugly about somebody. We
Yep.
don't need that. We see that all the time. So,
Absolutely.
this platform is here to encourage, to motivate, to push you to do more, to do better, to do greater. That's what this platform is for. If you have an idea that I have not mentioned, just reach out to us. We'll
Absolutely.
consider it. We'll consider it. But there's so many things that we can talk about to empower our people to move forward in life and not be stuck and not be totally dependent on this or totally dependent on that. That God has given us the power. He's given us the power to do it. But we have to know that we have the power and we have to know what to do to get to that thing. I would love to have someone to come on and talk about what it takes to start a business, what it takes to if you're a hairdresser, what it takes to get started. Just something that's gonna empower the people.
I would like us to have a nutritionist on here.
That would work. That
Health,
would
health, health is wealth, and there are a lot of times where our health gets bad, or we wait until we're diagnosed with something, or we lose something, or something starts to go bad before we finally make changes. Like, just because, like, tradition is the biggest killer of our people. Because we always did it this way, we're going to continue to do it this way. We're going to continue to get the same results. That although we're not happy about those results, me, Ma, and Paw did it that way, and my parents did it that way, so I'm gonna do it that way and make my kids do it that way. Like, we need a nutritionist on here, we need a therapist on here to help talk about opening up, breaking generational curses and things of that nature, because it's all too often we hear people talk about things that they do only because their long gone ancestors or whatever did it. Like, stop trying to impress the dead. You don't have to do what they did.
right, right, right. That's good. That's good. And I was going to mention that we've had a rash of young people who have committed suicide. I had someone reach out to me and said that they received a text and it had a picture of all these youth. The pictures were blotted out, and on there they say, I picked my day. I picked my day. I picked my day. And they were saying that they were going to pick their day to commit suicide. So we really need someone that's educated in that area, maybe even someone who has experienced that, who can kind of help people see like the signs. Maybe there are signs, maybe there weren't signs, but to
Mhm.
just share their experience. So it's just so many things that we can do on the Touching You Talk Show Network. We're here to offer it to you. Just reach out to us. We'll listen to you.
Yeah.
And
Consider it.
and real quick, I would just like to put out there that um, discussions help us build bridges, right?
Good.
And so, like you said, we're not going to tear anybody down, but we should be able to put out information, put out facts, and
Right.
let you, just like you're supposed to do with the Word of God, study, take the information, get the research for yourself. You don't have to take our word for it. I love LeVar Burton in Reading Rainbow. That's what he said at the end of everything. But you don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take my word for it,
Mm-mm.
And something I would like for us to, touch on. There is a fire in the young adults and teenagers in the church. People don't like to talk about it. A lot of times we get a little bit older and we're like, these young people these days, they don't, and shaking our fists at them. But there's a lot of them that are out here they have their own podcast where they're digging deep into the word. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And because we live in such a time of sound bites, we really want to make sure that we're guiding our young people properly. It's great that you're studying, but are you getting guidance in what you're studying as well? You
Mhm.
know?
That's
And
good.
so, there's just so much opportunity for growth and for this just to expand and just to not just shake what's happening in the DFW, but nationwide, worldwide, really.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. And you know what? We have not always been afforded the opportunity to have a platform. We
That's true.
had to jump through hoops. Your teeth couldn't be crooked, you know.
You
You
had
couldn't
to
be
look a
lighter
certain
than
way.
you couldn't be darker than a paper bag. You
You
had to
had to
live on
dress a
some.
certain way. Your clothes couldn't
Right.
be form
You
fitting. Your hair
couldn't
had to be a certain way.
you
Yep.
couldn't be overweight. You couldn't
No.
all these stipulations, and now the Lord God has afforded us where those barriers are no longer applicable. You can the barrier can be there. Are you going to just stand behind the fence, or are you going to come around the fence because there is an opening?
Yep.
So we just have an opportunity. So I'm just speaking to all of you. You guys, you have something in your head that you want to communicate, as long as it is edification. That part, that word, edifying. If we can edify, if we can build up, if we can encourage, if we can motivate, let's do it. If we can
Absolutely.
I'm
educate,
down.
let's do it. And I heard Rochelle loud and clear. We're gonna talk about some politics, and she's gonna be the one facilitating that. She shouldn't have said nothing if she didn't want to.
Listen,
I
my
will
goal is
definitely facilitate the sports.
oh yeah.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's do it. So I'm a Cowboys fan. What about you, Rochelle?
So
You
I'm
see, I'm
just
looking
learning.
at
Uh,
you.
Listen, I'm just
You
now
see,
learning
I'm
about
looking
the
at you.
sports
Okay.
because I have 4 boys, but my boys have determined so far right now we are a Eagles household.
What in the world? How in the world?
Listen, I don't know
What
what to
in the
tell
world?
you. They
How
they
in the world?
go listen, they go the way of the oldest. The 20-year-old decided it's Eagles.
Well, you
I'm
tell
just
him
learning
that
about the
Jordan and
sport.
I, we have a conversation that we need to have with him. We have an intervention.
I'm
yes.
just learning about sports ball. I'm just learning about sports ball. Y'all got to work with me here, okay?
Yeah. No,
That is so good.
I was born and raised a Cowboys fan, and I've had Cowboys jerseys, hats, jackets, and stuff all my life. And a couple years ago, they finally drafted somebody with the name Diggs, and so I went and bought so many
All
Diggs jerseys.
right, all right.
Not only did they draft someone with the name Diggs, his number is 7, so it was even more so a reason for me to go and get as many jerseys as I could. So I got plenty of Cowboys jerseys. I'm a fan of all hometown teams. Like Texas Rangers fan. I have a Texas Rangers World Series ring
Okay,
here. I got Dallas Mavericks stuff everywhere.
okay,
Like I
okay,
support all the teams. So if it comes to
okay.
sports, we want to do a sports show. I can get on here. My son knows everything about everything sports related
Oh,
too.
remember Rochelle was like she loved that episode with you and your son, your brother, and your father. She loved that
That one, I there are people at my church who ask me probably every Sunday, when are we going to do that again? I was like, the talk show happens often. They were like, no, but when are
Okay.
all 4 of y'all going to do
Yeah.
it? And I was like, I don't
So
know.
you think y'all want to get on? Does your brother like sports, and does he talk sports as well?
If you put him and my son in the room together, they will talk for weeks
Oh,
about any and everything.
okay.
So yeah, they'll definitely talk sports. My little brother is big into sports too. He doesn't play. They don't have sports teams at the private school that he goes to. He is part of the Texas Boys Choir, so he can talk to you about singing and traveling the world and doing that too. Like he's seen places in the world at 16 years and younger than I have in my entire existence. Like he's got more stamps in his passport than I do.
Wow. Cynthia said, "Leave him alone. I love the Eagles." Okay. We dragging you
Mm-mm.
down to the prayer line on Sunday.
Cry, Eagles, cry.
We dragging you
All I'm
down to
saying
the
is
prayer line,
the
ma'am.
Eagles better not lose to the Washington Commanders. They play them 2 times over the next 3 weeks, and if y'all lose to them even once, it's gonna be a problem.
See, that's what I'm saying. I need somebody to come in and just talk about it. Let's talk about it. Who you gonna get to do it with you? I know you say your son. Is it
I mean,
anybody else?
I mean, I know plenty of people who can talk sports. I just got to preface it to them. They got to keep it clean.
Yeah, ask them
Because
please.
when you get to talking sports, you can get it
It'll
can go
flip.
left field real quick.
Wait, okay. Can we do one more thing? Another thing, in case there's somebody out there that wants to do it. I would like for us to have a discussion about being adults who are single. I understand young adults, we know you're 20, college, single, no. Okay. I'm a 42-year-old woman who has been married and divorced. And I would like to talk about saying holy and sanctified and single.
I'm not 62 almost.
Look,
Wednesday, I'm gonna be 62.
but I look at that.
Talk about it.
Okay,
Let's
okay,
talk about it. Let's
But-
talk about it.
But let's talk about and
62.
and bring the men in, because so many times it's women, and the Christian, if we're being honest, singledom in Christianity is always focused on women. It's
And you know
always
what?
focused on us.
That's where I met Calvin. That's how I met Calvin. I had a podcast and I talked to someone. I was trying to have somebody in each generation, Gen X, Gen Y, whatever you call it. So I had 3 generations: 20s, 30s, and 40s. And he was in the 20s. So he talked about what he was looking for in a woman. And guess what? He got a woman too. I'm just so proud of him.
Hey, he
love
put
it.
it out there, and somebody was like, "I checked that box. I checked that box. I checked that box. Let me go find him."
And all I'm saying is, Lord, I see what you're doing in the lives of others.
Hey, the Bible says you have not because you ask not.
Listen,
Right? And you're not asking amiss. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're asking in his will. Yes, you are. So yeah, I think that would be great as well. So let's plan to do that sometimes in February. Let's go ahead.
February would be perfect for that because that's the month of lovers. It's Valentine's month and whatnot. So there's a lot of different topics that can be covered in February, from just doing the singles, but also those who have been in relationships for a long time. It is Black History Month, so you can also do a lot of the history talk, such as bringing up situations like we spoke on the young lady from Spotify. That would be a great conversation to have and shine spotlight on more situations like that, especially for Black creatives
right.
in February, because like at work, I've been with my company now, it'll be 12 years next year, and there's been many a times where they'll come to me in January saying, "Hey, who should we spotlight for Black History Month?" And I'll be like, "If you come to me one more time about Malcolm X, MLK, Harriet Tubman, we don't want to hear about them no more."
Right.
Like
we've heard
we
about
know
it.
their stories. We've heard it, we've seen it. At this point, it feels like we've lived it. No slight to what they went through, because they were pioneers in their own right, but tell us about modern day, like people of color that are doing stuff for us. Like, history is being made every day.
Right.
I don't want my grandkids to be learning about something that I didn't even know happened in my time,
right.
because it becomes history for them, but it's present for us. So
Right.
that
I.e.,
it's a
like
lot can
Jasmine
happen.
Crockett, regardless to whether people like her or not, she's just one of them people that's she's gonna bulldoze her way right into. She's gonna be
See,
heard.
And the problem is,
we've got other people too who are just paving the way.
see, but the problem with her, not the problem with her, but the problem with what she's doing is men do that all the time. And they say, "Oh, they're just passionate." But she does it, and suddenly it's a problem with it, because it's a
Say
Black
that.
woman doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
everything that she's doing, Donald Trump did it. And they're just like, "Oh, ha, 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 it's the president. Da, da, da. Who cares?" Like, he ain't always been the president. He's done a lot of things way worse that we are finding out about. And the way that he talks about people, to a point she made earlier on Twitter, his own little social media, like, there was a time where the American president, the president of the United States, the single most powerful man in the world, was held to a certain standard of how they acted.
Mm-hmm.
You saw how them people went crazy when Obama wore a tan suit.
And suits.
That man was sharper than Japanese samurai swords, and they lost it. They wanted to impeach him for a tan suit.
Or
But
the
this
time,
man can get on there and he can call a reporter Porky because he don't like the question that she asking, and everyone's like, "Oh, ha, he just says what everybody's thinking."
Mhm.
Why are you all thinking that?
Yeah,
Right?
that's not in my head. That's not. I,
That I wasn't thinking
No.
that.
Thinking that either. Or that time when Michelle Obama, they went to meet the queen, and she was like, she didn't have any sleeves on, and they just had a fit because she's walking around with her arms out. I'm like,
They still coming for Michelle Obama for various reasons. Like, I don't want to get into the details on it, but if y'all have been online, especially on Twitter or X or whatever, them people, not us, but them people do not like that lady.
wow,
And
because
it's
she's
like,
so
what
powerful.
it's
it
kind of
don't
like
make no sense.
it's kind of like that's another reason why I applaud Elder Sheila for what she's built here, because you don't build that being just a dainty little wilting flower in the corner. Okay. And I don't know if any of you have ever heard Elder Sheila Black preach or pray. Ain't nothing quiet about it. Not at all.
It is a lion's roar coming out of the mouth of a kitten.
Mm.
She might
Exactly.
look small and petite and whatnot, but you put that mic in her hand and she say, "Bow your heads." It's about to go down.
Let me tell you something. It's a rap battle between her and Satan. And let me tell you something. She's bodying it every single time.
Yeah,
Okay.
Satan don't have the bars to hang with her.
Now, no, okay. she
God be the
was
glory.
over. So, but when you have strong personalities like that, Jordan, I'm just now meeting you, but you're a strong personality. I've been told I'm a bit of a personality myself. And so when you have that, it can intimidate people. It can make people go, "Oh, that's team too much."
Mhm.
But is it team too much, or are you just not doing enough? Which one is
Exactly.
it?
Being told that you have a strong personality is a backhanded compliment because it means that you're not a pushover, but they're saying it in a derogatory manner no matter how many LOLs they put after it, no matter how much they try to say, "Oh, but I love it though." Okay, you didn't have to put a but in there. If you say I got a strong personality, leave it at that.
Right, right.
Because if you got to say, "But I love it," then that just lets me know that, okay, somebody around you, or maybe even you, think it's a bad thing that I have a strong personality because I'm not going I'm not a both ways swinging door. You're not just going to push through me. Like, you got to know the combination to get through me.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a
And
Brinks
I think
truck.
This is so good, y'all. But yeah, so think about it. All of you out here, I know you have ideas. I know you have knowledge. I know you have expertise. Maybe it's something. You know who we need to have on here? Raven, the cake maker. That's
Good
his sister.
luck. She is so
Is that your
shy.
sister?
Yeah, that's my little sister.
That baby right there. Y'all go
Man,
ahead on and search Raven, the cake maker.
she
That baby
made
right
some
there.
sugar-free, no bake strawberry shortcake bites. Man. And then, like, she made, like, before we went on our family cruise in November, she made a cinnamon roll pound cake. Man, I don't think she's put anything in front of me that I ate and was just like, "I don't think I like that." Even if I said I didn't like it before she gave it to me, I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
still try it because I support my sister. And
Yeah.
by the time I finished that third slice that I said I didn't want, I'm convinced that I like it. Like, I've got my coworkers. I show them her TikTok page and her videos and stuff like that, and they're like, "How do we order?" Click the link in the bio. Like, I promise you all.
yeah.
And you would never, like, she's just a quiet little. I don't know how she went from terrorizing me as a kid to being this quiet little shy woman. Like, she don't like to get up and talk in front of a lot of people, and if she does, she gonna say what she got to say and sit down. But yeah, no, we definitely need to get her on here. We could do a whole cooking segment. Like get the mics and the camera set up right. You could do a cooking segment.
Let's do it because my son. As a matter of fact, maybe she can mentor him because he has started his journey. He's baking brownies. He made his first pound cake last night. It was so good. He made his
Oh,
first pound cake. He's
Raven is the
doing
queen
it.
of pound cakes.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, well, I did tell him he need to get my aunt Orly. Her pound cake recipe is just good. So he needs to actually glean from her. And
Mhm.
then, after you glean from her, then you add your own flavor to it.
That's
That's
another conversation that needs to be had. We are losing some of our generational recipes
that part.
because, and I'm not even going to blame it on the women of today. The people of today don't want to learn how to cook. I learned how to cook.
Yeah. I
I
love
didn't I didn't learn all of my grandmother's recipes. Luckily my aunt Lori did. So I'm going to take the time to learn a bunch of them from her so that I can keep it
okay.
going.
Since he brought it up, the apple, I mean, it's like it's just all in their family. This woman, Miss Lori Diggs, she has the best smoked macaroni and cheese that I've ever tasted in my
She'll
life.
smoke anything. I promise you.
And every time I see her, I ask her, "Did you bring me some smoked macaroni and cheese?"
I promise. She just gave me some smoked chicken salad the other day. And
Oh, I
she knows
know.
I like my food spicy, so she separated it and made mine spicy. She sent me some fried cabbage the other day with peppers that she grew.
Mm,
Like she's got a garden now at her house, so she's growing her own peppers, her own like spinach and different vegetables and stuff like that. And when I tell you she smokes anything, she will smoke anything.
mm.
If it
And
can be
then
cooked, she'll smoke it.
she's got the smoked turkey legs that she likes to do.
The
I've had
brisket,
the
the brisket,
brisket.
that's her signature thing. Like her Twitter name is Bishop Brisket.
You know
It is
what?
so good. It is so, 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 so good. And every time I see her, I'm like, "Did you bring me a plate?"
People will eat that brisket cold. I had her smoke a brisket for me for a friendsgiving one year, and I showed up and I was like, "Hey, I got the brisket. We need to put it in the oven." And they were like, "No, we finna eat it now." I was like, "But it's not warm." They're like, "We gonna eat it now." And they ate
Mm.
that brisket cold. No one put it in the microwave. It never saw the oven. They
Wow.
just started eating it.
Wow.
Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
she's a great cook. So,
Well,
anyways,
I do
I'm
have one.
motivated. Go
I
ahead.
do have one question. Well, since Mr. Diggs, since you do have this album release party that will be coming out,
mhm.
would you mind having a young up and coming uh, interviewer, journalist in the making named Rochelle Kent to come to that and interview you maybe before and after the recording and the release party?
Absolutely.
Oh, Tiffany, you
Absolutely.
gotta be there. Tiffany, you gotta be there.
Everyone has to be like I'm telling you, I don't know quite yet where it's gonna be, but it's gonna need to be a place that's gonna be able to hold a good number of people.
Yeah.
It's gonna
And
have
then
to
we're going to
be.
have to record you. We're going to have to interview you real quick, do a live on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm looking
I
Definitely
might
forward
push
to
I
it
that.
out.
might I might I might sell live tickets where people can watch it online, those who can't physically be present. So like
Oh, that would be
you pay
nice.
$10 to be present, $10, $15 to be present, $5 to get access to the link to watch it online. Like I want to do it the right way because I don't want to like I'm bringing in my band that I play with. They're about to start learning all the music and stuff like that. And the great thing is, and I'm not going to take too much time on this. So I've always, because I grew up in the church has live instruments obviously. So me being an artist, I've always wanted to play with a live band. I found a guy on TikTok who made live band arrangements. I didn't know where in the world he was. Turned out he was just in Louisville. So then he and
Oh,
I started working together.
mhm.
Another gentleman found me on Instagram and was like, "Hey, if you ever want to get a live band to play with you, I got a band." I was like, "That'd be cool." I ran into him at a show. Turned out he lived in Bryan, Texas, so near College Station. But we go
Mm,
back and forth to rehearse and perform together and stuff like that. Every single
nice.
member of the band plays in church on Sundays.
Wow, that's
Wow.
that's
So
amazing.
when I told them, hey, I'm gonna do a Christian project, and they were just like, send it, we'll learn it, we'll play it. And they all play multiple instruments. The bass player plays bass, guitar, keyboard. The keyboardist plays keyboard, drums. It's like Russian roulette with the instruments between all of them, because they all play something different. They will be there to play that night. So what you hear on the album will be the studio version of the songs and everything, but what you experience on the release concert will be the live band situation, which is like, that's how I grew up seeing gospel music and stuff come together. Like, I was a kid going to live recordings with Kirk Franklin. I missed the one that he did back last weekend or weekend before last, but like,
Yeah.
that was the way that I remember experiencing the gospel music before they were making it to cassettes and CDs. I was there in the audience, or I was at the rehearsals. And if you don't believe me, go ask Cindy Diggs. She got the pictures. Because if you know Cindy Diggs, she take pictures. And there are pictures of me at those Kirk Franklin rehearsals when he was with the family. And I was just like, so if Kirk, if you watching, it's my turn. Come
All
find
right.
me. Like, it's my turn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming online with me tonight, and just reach out to us. We'll get back with you. We'll see what we can do. There's so many topics that we could talk about, that we need to talk about, that we need to share. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate all of you. If you are watching, I ask that you would go ahead and share this broadcast. Share, share, share. I ask that you would go to the Touching You Talk Show, go to the page and share it, and invite your friends to support, invite your friends to follow the Touching You Talk Show page. Yeah, we all individually have lots of followers, but we want to drive traffic to the Touching You Talk Show network page. So if you could do that for us, that would be great.
Absolutely. Tell a
Any
friend to
fin-
tell a friend.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. So any final words of any kind? Rochelle, you go first.
Just first, thank you, Elder Sheila, for uh seeing in me something that I knew was there, but I was afraid to use. So thank you for letting the Holy Spirit and God push you to shove me. So I appreciate that. Um, Mr. Diggs, I look forward to growing and getting to know you and your wife. I want to, and your whole family, just get to know all of y'all, because uh from it's your aunt Cindy. She's the one that
Cindy. Yep.
comes to Day Spring, right?
Yes.
Every
Yes,
now
she
and then.
does.
Yes, yes. Uh I just love her energy. So I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I can't wait to become her play niece.
All
So,
It
you
don't
know,
take much for it. She'll adopt everybody.
so I love it. And I would just tell everybody, if you can, tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. for the Ask an Autism Mom podcast. We're going to be talking about how to deal with meltdowns and changes in schedule during the holidays with you and your children with autism.
Sounds like a plan. And Jordan,
Awesome.
any final words?
No, no final words. I talk a lot, and y'all have heard me talk a lot. So, just like I said before, 2026. It's only up from here. June 3rd, 2026, the official release date for my first Christian project, and I say first because it can't be the last. Take them to church. So be on the lookout for that. The latest single, "Father Forgive Me," is available on all platforms. We've gone number one in 3 different countries in the gospel and all genre charts. I beat out Taylor Swift, y'all.
What?
So yeah,
All
in the
right.
Philippines, in Belgium, and in Indonesia, we have topped the charts with that song, and we're just looking to continue to keep it going. So big things coming, and it's all by the grace of God, because this talent that I have wasn't something that I just woke up one morning and said, "I'm gonna do this." It was something that was within me, and someone had to push me into it, and then even you, Elder Sheila Black, pushing me into doing podcasting. I always would say, "Hey, I want to get on a podcast," but would never do it. I didn't really have a choice when you came and asked me to do it, and then I didn't have a choice when you had me host. And it's no longer, none of this is being done by force anymore. I want to do this, so thank you for that.
You are so welcome, and I appreciate all of you who watch every week. And oftentimes we really can't see who it is, but people always come back and say, "Hey, I enjoyed your show." So I just appreciate all of the viewers. Just go ahead, share, tag, share, all of the things. And let's get the word out, y'all. Let's get the word out. We got one
Yep.
more minute. So this has been Touching You Talk Show. Meet the hosts tonight. I ask that y'all have a great night and we will see you soon. And don't forget to log in tomorrow. I'm going to be on checking out the podcast tomorrow. What's the name of it again? Tell them again.
Ask an Autism Mom with Rochelle and Dr. Yolanda McKinney.
Woohoo, looking
There it
forward to
is.
that. Y'all have a great night. Love y'all.